Welcome back to Nah, I Haven't Made It Yet, the podcast with the Jasmine Sims. Happy New Year to you, and welcome to another day and another step on this journey. I know, I'm late, but I am here, and that is what matters. And I know the year is new and everything is fresh and everybody is on their motivational tip. And hopefully you all are still being consistent with whatever your resolutions are. Hopefully you are still getting into the gym, hitting that yoga mats. Whatever it is that you have set out to do for yourself, I hope that you are still being consistent on this 15th day of January. Just kidding, because this podcast is being released on Monday. So when that day comes, I hope you are still being consistent and hitting the ground running. So today's word of the day is meraki, and I really have no idea if I am pronouncing that correctly, but it means the soul, creativity, or love put into something, the essence of yourself that is put into your work. It's often used to refer to cooking and design. It's a Greek word and it does not have an English counterpart, which is probably why I found it on Pinterest and I could not find it in the actual dictionary. But an example of how you use it is, although it's not the prettiest and my food may not be 5-star, but I always cook with meraki. I love that. Like, my content may not always be consistent, but it is always done with meraki. Yeah, I said that. All right, so your artist spotlights for the week. And I mean, you guys know me and you know that a lot of these artists, they're just different. They are just creatives. They are people who do something with meraki. So your artist spotlight for the week is not a writer, nor is she a performer, but she is a creative. And she is actually my big sister, Sade Sims. And this shout out really goes to her artistry when it comes to makeup. And as the people say it, the beat. So make sure you follow her. Her Instagram and Facebook is B.A.R.E Cosmetics, B.A.R.E _Cosmetics. And I will, of course, put all the information in the notes and in the comment section of this podcast, but she has grown tremendously, y'all. It was my face she was working on before she learned the tools and the tricks of the trade, honey. So go to her page, check out some pics, check out her product. It is very, very good. And I'm not just saying it because she's my sister. I'm saying it because it is really, 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 really nice. And normally every time I go out, which is pretty rare, I am rocking her lipstick. So check out B.A.R.E Cosmetics, all of you makeup lovers and all of you with women in your lives. Buy her something nice from B.A.R.E Cosmetics. Support small businesses, support Black businesses, support the fam, you know? So the topic of the day is not something that is probably expected with it being 2019 and the top of the year. I think a lot of times around January of every year, it's always this fresh start, blank slate. You get to dive in, you get to rededicate, you get to recommit. You kind of have this start over. But what happens when January 1st is just another step in the same journey and you are tired of the journey? Because that's where I'm at. Like, no filters, no sugarcoating. I'm tired of the journey. I'm tired of the struggle. I'm tired of the grind. I'm tired of the hustle. I'm tired of the frustrations. I'm tired of the roadblocks. I'm tired of the hurdles. I am tired of this journey. So if you are hitting the trails blazing with some fire under your butt, kudos to you, honey. Kudos. Go, go, go. But some of us are tired of the journey. And that is what this podcast is all about today, is being tired of this journey. So what do you do? How do you get here? Is comparison an issue? Is that how you got here? I think for my personal experience, I guess it is a false expectation, or not even a false expectation. I guess a false timeline and a false understanding that, bruh, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do it full time when you want to do it or how you want to do it. And I think it's for me, it's just this feeling of like like you're looking at the resources, right? You're looking at what you're able to do, what you're capable to do, but what you need, like you're missing the engine. You're missing the thing that really is going to get it moving in the direction in which you desire. And sometimes that engine, you're like, I can't afford that engine. I don't know how to make that engine. I don't have the connections to get me closer to that engine. And you're kind of just wrecking your brain and trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do? And you get stuck and you get frustrated. And then the thoughts start to creep in that you're inadequate, that you're not good enough, that you never should have did it, that you should just trade in all of your dreams for a good 9 to 5 and benefits and just survive and live the same year on repeat and call it a life. Like, that's torture. That's hell on earth for me. But yeah, y'all, like, I'm so very sick of this journey. And I honestly believe that is how I got here. But it's interesting because I was listening to... Unfortunately, I cannot remember, but the person said, sometimes it doesn't take a lot of money. It takes a clear vision. And if you are anything like me, you have a ridiculous amount of ideas and dreams that I'm bombarding you every single morning and every single night. And your ideas trigger ideas, and those ideas trigger ideas. And thankfully, maybe a month or so ago, I had a friend of mine named Catherine, and she was like, how can I help you? And I was like, I'm juggling a million things, and my dreams are drowning me, honestly. And she came over my house, she opened up Google Calendar, looked at my work schedule, and she kind of mapped everything out for me, and it was beautiful. She is a godsend. It was so necessary. So if you're not doing that, I highly recommend you do that. Like mapping out your day. Like, okay, cool. You all work at 3. What can you get done at 5 after you take a nap and get yourself settled? Like, can you read something? Can you work on your business plan? Can you make a phone call? Can you do some research? And really scheduling that into your day. So now my dreams and my desires are kind of laid out plainly, and they now look more tangible. Where before they were this daunting mission that I was so ill-equipped for. And I was like, I think you fell into the lap of the wrong girl. But now, thanks to Catherine, things are moving forward in multiple areas of my life. And now I kind of hit this mundane wall. Where it's like, there's never going to be a one-time fix where your emotions and your motivation is going to fall into play. But I mean, commitment is staying when the feeling fades. And when the passion is on sabbatical, commitment is like, all right, cool. You don't want to show up today, Joy? All right, bet. I'm going to still get it in. You don't want to show up today, Inspiration? Cool. I'm going to write some dry poems. You don't want to show up today, Passion? Cool. Bet. But my time frame is 2 to 3, and I'm going to write, and I'm going to be productive. And it sometimes feels like you're bashing your head against the wall, but it really takes just learning yourself. And if you're like me, and depression is a very real experience for you, because depression is always trendy until you can't get out your bed and it's the 5th day and you got stuff to do. It ain't trendy no more. It's not trendy when you don't have the strength to call people and no one's checking on you. Then it's not some cute little status. Like, it gets real. And so my roommate Ellen and I, we kind of were talking about this, just the reality of depression and lack of drive and motivation. And we decided to make emotional tracking journals, we call them. And it's really us laying out what triggers our depression. What are toxic traits that we possess, what things cause us to shut down. And we actually are graphing out our month. So if you look at my calendar, like January 1st through 4th, on a scale of 1 to 10, that line is barely hitting a 4. And it starts to pick up after the day we did the journal, things started to pick up. But it's like, I recommend you do that because it's a good way for you to learn your struggles and learn your fears and learn your depression and learn you. And I'm not saying that your depression is you, but I am saying that all of what you are creates who you are. And you can't always separate everything from yourself because those things are making you. And so with this journal, it is helping me see like, oh, that's a sensitive spot for me. Or, like February, the anniversary of my dad's death is coming up. So I need to be mindful of my emotions and how I'm feeling and knowing the root of those feelings and those emotions. And once I know what it is, then I can learn how to address it, and learn how to sit in it. Because one thing that it took me a while to learn is that when you're tired, that's a good time to get rest. It's a horrible time to quit. And yeah, so I highly recommend that you do those things for you, because this journey, honey, I don't know if it gets easier. It hasn't gotten easier for me in general. Some parts of it have gotten easier, and I think understanding some parts of it has made it tolerable or manageable. But easier, I don't know. Talk to somebody further ahead in the journey when you meet them. Because for me, it's not easier yet, but I am holding on to the light at the end of this tunnel. I am holding on to the light at the end of this tunnel, y'all, because it gets dark, it gets hard. And I also hate when people, so comparison, I think, is dangerous, of course, because a comparison I think comparison also has some layers of expectation in there, whether those are expectations of you or other people. But another form of, I hate when people try to use comparison as encouragement. Like, oh, people would kill to be in your spot. Or there's people who, are not where you are. And I'm like, okay, but my journey has me here. And right now in this journey, in this blessing of a journey that it is, I'm still allowed to be frustrated. I'm still allowed to be upset. I'm still allowed to acknowledge my depression and not stuff it under the bed, because that's just dangerous. So I think everybody's journey is unique and everybody's journey is for them. So to sit there and say that somebody would kill to be in your spot, I mean, how about I just be grateful simply because I'm here, regardless as to where somebody else is? But that's just me. And if that don't make sense, it don't make sense, but it makes sense to me. But yeah. So this podcast is kind of rambling, but I am thankful for the journey, even though the journey right now is like a frenemy. And every morning I have to look at this beast and tackle it. And some days I lose. Some days I win. Some days I'm better than others. But every day is another step in this journey. So to all of those who have been rocking with me and stepping with me on this journey, your presence, your support is appreciated. And I can't say that enough. And that word just doesn't seem full enough of what I'm trying to convey to you, because I'd be foolish to believe that I've gotten this far on my own. I'd be foolish to believe that I'm sitting here on my own. And I would be foolish to believe that this life and that this voice that I have been given is just for me. So to those of you who have taken the time to press play, taking the time to listen, whether you've made it to the end of the podcast or not, I am thanking you for your presence and for your time. And I hope and I pray that you continue on this journey and that you do not trade in your dreams for a 9-to-5. Don't trade it in. Keep stepping. So I encourage you as I encourage me. Peace on the journey. I will see you on the next step. Remember, if you would like to be the artist spotlight, whether that be your book, whether it be your music, or whatever it is that you create with your hands, send me a DM or email, and I would love to feature you and send people your way.